Hello everyone, Duchess here and Happy New Year! Today's video is on two vintage finds. The first, a 1960s navy 100% silk Shantung opera evening coat, and the other, a 1950s pink wool jacket. Both exquisite pieces were good investments and will be perfect additions to my vintage clothing collection. The coat has 3/4-inch dome sleeves, a style often found in the 1950s and 60s, a large Peter Pan collar, 2 pocket flaps at the top, 2 fully lined pockets below, and is finished off with 4 blue rhinestone buttons. The coat contains its original lining, which has faded over the years, turning a light purple. As for the jacket, it has long sleeves, 4 pink buttons, lining that has also faded, perspiration stains in the lining, and a tear in the right armhole. After purchasing my pieces, I let them air out for a few days. Sometimes I air out my pieces up to a few weeks, then I begin the process of doing whatever cleaning is necessary. This can be hand washing, spot cleaning with a damp cloth or baby wipe, steaming, and eventually dry cleaning. Sometimes the piece is fine and just simply is stored. What I never do is wash my pieces in the washing machine. My vintage pieces get and continue to get the utmost care extending their life, which is why a great many of my pieces are still in excellent condition years later. When necessary, mending is also done, stitching hems, tightening buttons, and sewing seam allowances. In the case of the jacket, the perspiration stains around the neck and armpits were cleaned with a paste mixture made of baking soda, peroxide, and Dawn dishwashing liquid. A tip I picked up from living a vintage life on YouTube, and incredibly it worked, as you will see later in the video. The channel also recommended the baby wipes and a product called Retro Clean, which I will be giving a try in the future. It's supposed to be good for smelly, yellow, and dingy pieces. So without further ado, let's get into the video. This is what it looks like after I applied the baking soda, peroxide, and Dawn dishwashing liquid. And as you can see, I put it on the armpits and then also around the neckline. So this will sit for 24 hours and it will be rinsed out, and then the jacket will be air dried. So we will see what this result will be. I'm sure it's going to work, especially when you talk about having peroxide and baking soda in the mix. And of course, Dawn is a very good dishwashing liquid, so that always gets out grease or whatever stains you have on items. In the process of cleaning the jacket, I noticed that there was a blue pink mark here. Looks like a blue ink or something was on the left shoulder of the jacket. So I've been using a bit of Dawn on it and just kind of rubbing that through. And it was a little bigger than this, so I was able to get it to this smaller area, so it seems to be coming out, and I'm going to keep on working with that to get that out. So it isn't noticeable from a distance, but it is noticeable if you get close up on it. So I am using the Dawn to clean it, and it's coming out, and I'm using a little bit of the baby wipe to rub that in. So I'm going to keep working at this. I don't want to rub too hard on the fabric because I don't want to ruin this, because it is a wool jacket. So I just noticed the focus on this is not very good. It's going into a darker pink to a light pink, so I hope you can see this. The blotchy blue area there that I'm working on, I'm going to let that sit for just a few minutes. I was pretty successful at getting the blue mark out of the back of the jacket, and as I said, I used a little Dawn. And by the way, Dawn is not sponsoring this video, but I used a bit of Dawn, and it got a great deal of that was ink in the jacket out. And what I did is I just used a little bit on the end of the baby wipe and just kind of dabbed and rubbed a little bit. And then and as I'm doing this, I used cool water. This is where the stain was. Now you can see just a little bit of faint. There we go, the camera is focusing. You can see just a little bit of faint ink there, but for the most part, as you can see, it's out of the jacket. Now had I not noticed that, and this jacket had gone to the cleaners, those stains would have been baked in to the jacket, and that would have been a problem. Right after I remove the paste mixture, I'm going to do a little bit of steaming and just kind of freshen it up. This is the day after removing the paste from the neckline and the armpits, and for the most part this turned out quite well. However, on the neckline there's still a bit of yellowing there, and just the fact that I cleaned it with the paste to freshen that area up and to get most of the perspiration stains off is good. I'm not going to worry about the rest of that. So um, as I said before, perspiration and fragrances and other things do set in over time in clothing, particularly in vintage clothing. So I'm not going to worry about that too much. What I do want to show you is on the armpits, the perspiration stains came out, and that looks really, really good. And now it's on to steaming and mending the armhole and applying the appliques.